morning to you. Thank you so much for staying on the AM show. Earlier on, you heard Benjamin discuss what happened in Parliament on Friday with our guests. It's now time to talk about the fight against illegal mining and the new dimensions it's taking, putting into focus what happened in the Western region. And as you may have heard during the newspaper review, most of the papers capturing it. This is how the Ghanaian Times captures it. Gangsters attack police, seize magazine, mobile phones for grabbed. The publisher says police team under attack over alleged extortion, guns seized, uniform removed, and court remands attackers. You may have seen that video, really disturbing one, I must say. And you can see that the police went there, they were armed, they had their vehicle with them, but the effrontery, the confidence with which these alleged galamseyers attacked or seized the rifle of the police, it just makes you wonder what is giving them that sort of power to do that. And look at the police officer who represents the state in this case. Look at how he pleads. And I wish you could hear, because you could sense that there was a bit of fear or worry in the voices of the police officers, and you can just imagine what was running through their minds. Obviously, putting into perspective the things that have happened in the past few months, even with the Major Mahama incident, where unfortunately he lost his life as a result, also linked to illegal mining and galamsey issues. And well, the Ghana Police Service has been responding. I'll be introducing my guest shortly, but I just want to set the tone for our conversation. The Ghana Police Service has been responding to this issue. It says that these persons have been picked up, and also the case of alleged extortion is being looked into. Let me just bring you details of that statement briefly. 4 people arrested for attacking police in Western region. An alleged case of extortion referred to the Police Professional Standards Bureau for investigation. On the 9th of March 2023, the Exim Divisional Police Patrol Team reported an attack on the team by a gang that seized the magazine of a service rifle together with some mobile phones belonging to the police officers. An intelligence operation was immediately launched after the report to get the suspects arrested. On 28 March 2023, after about 3 weeks of the intelligence operation, 4 men, Kojo Sia alias Mosei, Emmanuel Mensah alias Kofia Samwa, Maxwell Kujo, and Ajebu Aruna Disao were arrested for their suspected involvement in the attack. A search conducted at the residence of Kwame Atuasari Ani, the prime suspect who is still on the run, led to the retrieval of 3 pump-action shotguns, also 1 pump-action shotgun, 2 machetes, and 8 BB refilled cartridges were retrieved from the suspect's unregistered Honda CR-V vehicle. Other items retrieved from the suspect include 2 live refilled BB cartridges and 1 unregistered motorbike. On the 1st of April 2023, while the investigations were ongoing to get the remaining suspects arrested, the attention of the police was drawn to a video footage in which the said police personnel, members of the Exim patrol team, are shown pleading with members of the gang while the gang is alleging extortion by the police officers. The allegation of extortion against the officers has been referred to the Police Professional Standards Bureau, PPSP, for investigation. All suspects in the reported attack on the patrol team who had been arrested have been put before court and remanded in custody. Efforts are continuing to get the remaining suspects arrested, and this is signed by Grace Ansa Akrofi, Assistant Commissioner of Police Director, Public Affairs. Let me bring you that video, and so you can listen to it and make your own judgment and build your own conclusions based on what you hear.
Polongamana yefu ahe Polongan kadum fiscal na adleri yobe Polongan kadum lido fa buro Polongan kadum Ushash Pulling curtain.
Oh, Charlie,
food matter for years. Hey, I'm couple more.
So I'm going to attempt to summarize and translate in the order in which the videos appeared. In the first one, what stood out for me is you can hear the police officer while kneeling saying, "Manyeni ye," which is, "I didn't do right by you." Manyeni ye cry. And in the second video, you can also hear the gang or one of the gang members saying, "Sir, yetuauka," which is to imply that there's been some monies that have been paid to this police officer. And then you can hear in the subsequent video, there's a lot of interaction going, and he's saying that, "You are my person, uye minipa." So clearly it establishes a certain relationship between the police officer and the members. And look, if you're somebody who pays attention to what happens in the sub-region, just look at how the leader of the gang, who is in an army green t-shirt, is dressed with what appears to be charms or something around his neck. I don't know. Consider what the police says it has retrieved from these suspects, the prime one who is still on the run. And imagine what we are breeding, what we are sitting on. And what will happen to us if we allow this to fester? Let me bring in my guest now. She is with the Ghana Environmental Advocacy Group, Elizabeth Va, and she's its executive director. Good morning to you, Elizabeth, and thank you for joining me this morning. You've been doing a lot of work in this sector. On your website, you have updates, you have educational information on what people should know about Galamsey, how many people have died, the amount of vegetation we've lost to Galamsey and all that. How does this make you feel, considering the years that we have put in a lot of effort from organizations like yourself at the national level to try and deal with this? It appears it is changing into something else. Looking at this video, how do you feel?
Good morning, Bernice, and thank you for the opportunity. I am feeling three different emotions at the same time. I am sad, scared, and ashamed. Ashamed as an Nzima that this is happening on our land. And I am sad because to see a Ghanaian officer of the law kneeling before a gangster makes me scared for the future of our country. And this is not just, we are now seeing it, but in the communities themselves. Imagine regular Joe, regular Amma, regular Akuba, regular Aka. Their farms have been overtaken. Their sources of livelihood have been run down. But who can they turn to? Do you expect them to go to the police? Look at how these people are talking to each other. The police in the district has been, they've been fully compromised. And I'm not going to limit it to just the 2 or 3 that are kneeling down begging for their lives. The entire police administration in Axim district has been compromised. How do you expect regular people to feel safe? People bothered about the destruction going on in their communities. They have no one to turn to. From the district administration to the police to everybody, the chiefs, everybody has been compromised. And the regular people are going to be at the mercy of this. The good thing that what Kwame and his people have done has made Ghanaians aware is that very soon it's going to be in our towns. It's going to be in our cities. It's going to be in our villages. It's not just going to stay in the bush. And it's coming for us.
And talking about that reminds me on the attack on that, the name has escaped me, it will come back to me shortly. The mines that were attacked about 2 weeks ago, and we spoke to one of the bosses there who was very disturbed. We have seen this happening over time. And to hear these gangsters threatening the officer and saying, i.e. we will shoot you and kill you. And Elizabeth, bringing into perspective concerns about how close terrorism has come to us. And without sounding like an alarmist, and like I mentioned earlier, if you've seen movies where, like Blood Diamond, all these things, then you begin to understand that this is getting serious. Isn't it surprising, though, that we have put in so much effort from government, organizations, to some of these mining communities themselves? Some chiefs appear to be very forceful in seeing the end to this. Have we lost it? And how did we lose it, despite all these efforts?
Have we lost it? All the efforts, I tell you, other than the CSOs and those like you journalists, some of you like Erastus, putting your lives on the line. Our state apparatus and the municipal and district administrations that are supposed to help, plus the security service, they have never been part of this fight. They have looked at it as a way to enrich themselves. They have looked at it, most of them, have looked at it as a way to make the most they can while they can. So no, we haven't lost it because we haven't tried. We have lost it because those who should really be committed and who have the power to make this stop have been compromised. And that is why my point since I saw this video is we shouldn't limit it to Kwame and his people. I am glad that he escaped and he's speaking up for himself. The police administration is highly, highly compromised, and until we go through to the bottom of it, I am even asking that they be replaced. As at this point, who are you going to talk to? The crime officer? The crime officer is the one being referred to as the one that gave them the gun. And so who are you going to talk to in the district? The DCE, MCE? Who? So we have to be committed. This is a fight that can be won. And I am talking to Kwame. I would want to use your medium to talk to Kwame directly. Kwame, the way that you've seen finally that you are being used to destroy your community and the rivers, the same thing, Ghana and our leadership is being used to destroy our communities just so that the real people who enjoy the gold will live large in Dubai and all of those other places. If you watch that mafia movie, Gold Mafia, you would cry for your country, you will cry for Africa. Let's not do this to ourselves. Because the cost of what we are doing in the villages, the cost of what we are doing to our land, the cost of what we've done to River and Cobra, Nobody, none of those in Dubai living large are going to bear that cost. We are going to bear it.
Elizabeth, you sound that you still have hope, but you paint a picture of how literally it appears everybody's compromised. And I spoke to the CEO of the Chamber of Mines, Suleiman Akoni, who says that we must bring the soldiers back. But seeing what we are seeing now, and even hearing stories of soldiers extortion, remember the time during the anti-Galamsey task force where soldiers were alleged to have extorted monies. My own colleague Erastus Asari-Donko, Brothers reports indicating that some of the gangsters actually had contacts with persons embedded in the team who would alert them and say, look, we are coming here, pack up your things and leave. If all the people responsible appear to be compromised from government, and we had the former Minister for Environment allege that there are people in the Flagstaff House or Jubilee House who are involved in illegal mining one way or the other, where then lies our hope? This hope that your organization is clinging to, this hope that people who live in these mining communities, farmers who are being pushed out of their homes. There was a story about a woman who was being forced out of her home, literally, by illegal miners. Where is the hope that you're clinging on to if the people that are responsible for ensuring that these things are dealt with themselves appear compromised?
Well, we can't give up. But somehow, I am finding some hope in what we have seen today. I am finding hope in it, and I'm expecting the police service, the hierarchy, to sit up and ask itself, given how good they've done in some instances, if they really, really wanted to help us solve this problem, you think they wouldn't? So they should look for the people who have been compromised. And I'm calling on right now, it's like the police are going to investigate themselves. I mean, are we relying on the crime officer and his director in the Axim district office to give them information that will show what's actually going on? They won't. So the police and the Public Service Commission, somebody that really cares with people like what's his name? Those people who have been speaking up about this issue, form a little committee of some sort to really get involved in this probe. Let's isolate the people, the mafia behind this, and let's expose them. Let's get them out of the way. Every town where this is happening, let's get those mafia involved out of the way and reassess. Now, the likes of Kwame coming to the realization that we are being used, I think we can let them all know that yes, they are being used. The entire country is being used, and we are not helping ourselves. So as more and more people come to this realization and they stand up for themselves, their methods have scared us. But I think it is the wake-up call that we need. So now is our time, because when these guys take it off of those policemen who are extorting them and using them into our streets, you and I can stand it. We have nothing else to do than to pick up the pieces and restore our country and our communities.
There's a story on myjoyonline.com, and this story was on the 1st of April. And the headline is, Prisia Galamsey served notice of a deadly demonstration against mining firm. Remember I told you about what the CEO of the Chamber of Mines has suggested. He says that many of the operations in these mining firms, it's being affected by the activities of Galamseyers. So you have the Galamseyers not only taking over people's lands, but they're now moving into properly, legally established firms that are doing what they have to do according to the law and trying and attempting to take over. Let me bring you details of this story from Prisia. There's looming social unrest there. It's also in the western region. A group of small-scale miners have served notice to stage what they term a deadly and relentless demonstration to demand access to mining lands occupied by Future Global Resources Limited. The group, identified as the Central Committee of Community Mining, says the mining company, after its establishment, closed down mining sites which were originally not within their catchment. They want management to free that concession for community mining. Now, you may recall that at the time when it was our fight against Galamsey was full haul, when there was a task force moving around, burning stuff, there was a plan to reintegrate these people or young people who were involved in Galamsey. So we were going to let them plant palm or give them alternative livelihood. And we were trying to also regularize community mining in the area. Now, here's a case where a group of people say that, give us this land or we will, embark on a deadly demonstration. I wonder why they term it so. How well do you think we've done with our bid to regularize the activities of small-scale miners while fighting illegal mining, and how you feel our activities around that may have contributed or not to where we are today?
That's a loaded question. We haven't approached this whole regularization and all the work that we're supposed to be doing with the genuineness that it deserves. Go to places where they call community mining. Actually, what's the difference between community mining, Galamsey, and even the legal mining? There isn't much. The community mine is owned by a Chinese or some politician, and then the guys, the youth of the town, most of them party apparatchiks, are conscripted or are employed to work in it. They are using the same equipment and accoutrements and harsh chemicals that the illegal miner is using. Really, what's the difference? I have a community that is right now, the youth themselves have come together and said, we are not letting you come and do your community mining. We only have one good stream that we rely on, and we are not going to let you do that. They are in court with their chief and the regional minister not to let community mining happen in the area because it's not community, number one, and it doesn't help them. We have a lot of youth that think that the Galamsey they are doing, because they earn some few cities, it's everything. At the end of the day, they are dying. They are dying with kidney disease and all of that. Nobody seems to be making the connection and really letting them know that they are not helping themselves. They are destroying the communities. And then I have been also a very, very vocal community rights advocate. Even where we have so-called legal proper mining. Look at Obuasi. Look at Prestia. Look at Chakwa. I mean, really, are we serious? What exactly are these communities gaining from these mines? So we are going to continue to have those skirmishes between the community people and the mines just because of because of all the inequality and injustice that goes on between the communities that own the resource and the people that come to exploit it.
Elizabeth, but so again, are you, sorry to interject, but does it appear to you then that this may be streaming from different angles, while there are those who are demanding to take over legal concessions of legal firms who are galamseyers? There are members of the community who also feel we've not had enough from you, and so they may be justified in a way in their demands for this. Is that what I'm getting from your submission?
So there is justification for communities and the right for them to be able to enjoy a good share of the resources on their land. That should not be taken away. And we have to find a way as a country to see how we get some equity. We do some equitable distribution of the resources, making sure that the communities that contribute the most, the communities that bear the risk of anything that comes up when these things, with the exploitation of these resources, do see tangible benefit from the use of those resources. And then also those who are now using this galamsey and looking for gold as their way of terrorizing people. You go deep behind it, and they are all being supported by the very echelon, the very people in our communities, in our societies that should be speaking up for the communities. The people behind it, emboldening these people, are the same people we expect to enforce the law and make sure there's law and order. So it's a big mess there that we need to look at. But the issue of ensuring equitable distribution of the resources, it is key if we want to be credible, if we want to say to these people, no, you don't need to do this. You get your share of whatever your land has, and then do some other things that can benefit you. They will understand. But right now, some of them are genuinely fighting for what is theirs, and some of them are taking advantage of it with the leadership behind them to really, really make life miserable for everybody. We need to sit down properly, look at how we tackle this, and do the right thing. Because look, we are all being made fools of by the people who are in the gold mafia enjoying the booty in Dubai. We are all pawns in everybody else's game, and our country is going to be the worst for it.
Elizabeth, the example you cited of that community that is insisting and telling its leaders that we won't allow even community mining here, takes me to an angle of your fight. And on your website, you have a petition people can sign. You have a call for people to join this fight against illegal mining. So run us through how people can be a part of it, because clearly it appears that those mandated to help us in this fight are failing us by the minute. And based on the example that you cited, if ordinary people do not rise up, we will have trouble on our hands in a few years to come. So how do we join that fight, and how do we sign your petition?
The petition is online, so everybody is invited to sign. How to join? You go to our website and you can get in touch with me. We have a form, very simple. You fill it and you are part of it. Right now, as I speak, we have about 200 people on our platform, and in the various communities, we are getting some kind of help from what's the name? Erocha and Waxy and those things to help build capacity to make this, the fight is in the communities. Even me sitting here, I am not there. And I get calls every single time, Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, Madam, this is what's happening here. That's how that community reached us. A youth from the place had been fighting and fighting to no avail. When they heard that now there was going to be community mining, the president had his poster on big poster at their place. They got scared because 80% of their land is taken over by some bauxite company. And then the remaining 20% with a very beautiful stream that's all that the community is called Atronsu. That's all that they revolve around. The chief and the regional minister and whoever came up with community mining, and they were like, no, we can't do that. So when they reached out, we helped them get the voice. We helped connect them to organizations like eco-conscious citizens and stuff like that are helping. We are all helping them fight, because we can talk all we want, but the fight is right on the ground. And let me use your medium as well to let every youth in every community know that whatever you think you're getting from destroying your communities, it's not much compared to the disease and the debilitation that is going to face you. So be like the likes of Japheth and his team at Atronsu. Stand up for once. Stand up for your communities. There is life beyond Galamsey. Take advantage of it. And we are also trying to help these people with some kind of alternative livelihood. We have a very, very dedicated father called Father Joseph Blake. He's one of the communities. He's been able to get them to say, in this our Jema community, no Galamsey, no mining. And they are thriving. We now want to help them to do like alternative things like fish farming and those things. Let us all come together and help the communities fight for themselves. And all those are who we see to be complicit and who Kwame Ani and his team have made us see are complicit. Let's clear them off. Let's retool ourselves. If you want to join us, like I've said, go to the website, gheag.org, get in touch with us, and we are trying to mobilize as many people in the communities as possible to stand up, because we are the change that we seek.
Right.
If we don't do it, nobody's going to do it for us.
And let me just reiterate what the website is, gheag.org, Ghana Environmental Advocacy Group.org. And I'm currently on your site, and I must say that you're doing a lot of work, which is really commendable. And so on that page, you even have ways on which you can educate other persons about destruction of the environment, the bigger aim is to protect the environment. So you have things like how you can plant a tree, recycling plastics, not littering, conserving electricity. And they also have articles and reports. The latest one was released in January 29, 2023, which is, does Ghana have sustainable small-scale or community mines? And that's what we are discussing. I just saw it, and it's really exciting for me, Elizabeth. So before I let you go, Elizabeth, this is something I've been saying since we started our fight against galamsey. And I would like for you to spell out in 2 or 3 points what immediate measures you think we must take to ensure that the next time you and I have this conversation, it will be conversation about making strides and not retrogressive things like what we've seen in that video today.
What can we do? Our chiefs, I keep saying that our chiefs are more powerful than the mayors of New York and those major cities, because you are seen by your people as the link between your ancestors and the current generation and the future. You have been vested the authority over the community, the land that you are chiefs of. Forget what the politicians and everyone else says. Your power has not been taken from you. So exercise it in your communities. Because when everyone is gone, you are going to be answerable to the youngest baby that is born on your land today, the chiefs. And then the community, the youth, stand up for yourselves. I know Kwame did it because he saw that he was being used. Everyone else in those communities, those in the trenches, those on the Ankobra digging it up as I speak right now, it's your future you are mortgaging. Think again. The few cities you get there are not going to help you in any way at all. In a few years, you're going to be in the hospital on dialysis. So think and think again and save yourself. Now finally, to our country, to the police, to the government, to those in charge of running this country, let this episode be the wake-up call. Axim District Police has to be replaced right now before, as we dig deeper into exactly what is going on. Let's get that template clean, and let's restore that template in every other community where this is going on. The complicity, so long as there is complicity between the administration, the police service, and the galamseyers, we will not be going anywhere. But it won't end there. It's not going to, if we don't do anything right now, it's not going to end in that forest. It's going to come to the towns. It's going to come to your administration, and you may not be able to curtail it.
Elizabeth, I'm so grateful you could join us this morning. Elizabeth Vice, Executive Director, Ghana Environmental Advocacy Group. You can check them out, check out their websites, the works they're doing, read around why it's important for us to join this fight. And she talking about the health impact of illegal mining reminds me of a documentary or a feature we aired about a doctor who is so concerned about pollution and how it's affecting even babies who are passing kidney stones. This is a fight that we must all be interested in. And hopefully something meaningful will come out of this, and we'll be able to appreciate and understand the importance of this to our environment It's important that we don't lose hope in this fight against illegal mining. And like Elizabeth suggested, it comes down to you and I, the very people who will be affected. And don't think you sit in the major cities and so you're not affected. All our water bodies are connected one way or the other. And you've heard what the Ghana Water Company Limited has been saying about even turbidity and how it's affecting its ability to produce water. Recently, a senior officer at the CSIR has also raised concerns and said we may start importing water. This is a crisis, people, and we must all be interested. Imagine if all of us said we will rise up. We don't care if the police is losing the fight. We don't care if government is losing the fight. We as the people will stand up. Imagine the positive impact we would be making. And so get onto the Ghana Environmental Advocacy Group's website. You can sign the petition. You can become a member and see how we all help in making our country a safer place for all of us and the future generations. Well, this is the AM show. It's now time for us to bring you our drive safe tip. Do stay for that.